What's going on, everyone? Welcome back for another week with me and Mr. Matt Gannon. The final points, Scottish Open, going overseas for a couple weeks in a row here. Always presented by Fantasy Points. But before we get into the course and everything, I'd like to congratulate my co-host Matt on getting Baker Mayfield today. Your Panthers.
I did not know where you were going. I did not know where you were going with that. Yeah, as a longtime Panthers fan, I don't know how to feel about it. I was like, no, I don't want Baker. But for a conditional 5th round draft pick, we know what the upside is. I'll take it. Better than Sam Darnold is for sure an upgrade. Baker and CMC could be dangerous. Throwing a little DJ.
At least he's a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
Even if he sucks, you have Baker Mayfield. So
yeah. It's
worst case.
We could be doing worse things in Carolina. We went back to Cam, had the experiment, but I like where the defensive front seven is sitting this year. I think we're going to have another great defensive year. So if we can get the pieces going, CMC can stay healthy. What do we got to deal with? That guy Tom Brady again? I think the division could be ours. So we'll see.
Yeah. So all right, we'll flip it over to golf. Scottish Open.
Oh, golf.
This is I think that's why we're here. This field excites me. I mean, seeing the true split between PGA Tour, DP World Tour, a lot of talent top to bottom. I think if we've talked about how weak the 6K range can be, I think if you truly want to go for it, you can do a Stars and Scrubs because the 6K range offers some European Tour guys who, I mean, I'm just learning myself. I don't follow it every single week, but I know the top end guys, some of the mid-tier guys, some of the guys who play in the majors, but you dig a little bit deeper and you can find some studs down in the low sixes.
Yeah, these 6K guys, I feel like there's obviously a clear edge at the top from the PGA Tour guys, which is much better than the Euro Tour guys, unless your name is Ryan Fox. We'll get there. But at the bottom, I feel like these 6K guys are fairly mispriced. You can definitely find some guys under 6,700 who have so much more upside than these same price PGA Tour guys that we see week in, week out, because DraftKings just isn't too familiar with them. They're not taking their time because DraftKings, they're sharp. They're a very sharp book, and for the most part, and they know what they're doing. Yeah. But for stuff like this, they might not be all the way up to standards with these DP World Tour guys. So we can.
Yeah, and you have finishing positions, this and that, but I mean, to find the course history, to find their true strokes gained stats, it's just not as easy, and it's not out there as much. So that's the real difference when it comes to these European Tour guys. You see some of the guys at the top, like you said, Ryan Fox. I mean, you look at his recent finishes, the price represents that. If you want to ask what he's been doing from a approach perspective or off the tee, you got to dig a little bit deeper. You can't just look at his official World Golf Rank page or anything like that. But in terms of the course this week, Matt, the Renaissance Club, going to play long, very unique scorecard, a lot of par threes.
I like the scorecard for what it's
I do too. It mixes it up, and you need to really play well on all of them. Looking at the top 10 finishers last year, par 4 scoring was most important, par 5 being next, par 3 third, even with 5 of them in there. Looking all together, I even said to Sam last night, Minwoo Lee, if he didn't go nuts on Sunday, he didn't do a whole lot in terms of statistic. Like, his stats didn't look great. He led the field in birdies, which I think he birdied 6 of his last 9 on the front or something like that. Was 4th around the green, and then ranked top 25 in par 3, 4, and 5 scoring. But outside of that, strokes gained off the tee, he was 60th. We've talked about Minwoo Lee earlier this year. That's where he thrives, is off the tee. So seeing that he didn't even really have his driver last year and was able to do this
was a weird week.
It's odd.
What were you going to say?
Go ahead.
You can finish. I was going to say that last year, this tournament was, I obviously knew it was the first time I bet this tournament. I bet Thomas Dietrich at 110 to 1. I was like, I love betting Thomas Dietrich on the Euro Tour. Oh my God, I'm going to get all my Dietrich money back. And then he was in the final group. I think it was late Saturday or early Sunday, over a 2-foot putt. Weather horn went off mid backstroke. And I don't know how they let that happen. As he was in one of the final groups, they should have been aware. Missed the 2-footer, by the way. And because the horn went off in his backstroke, he flips out after, ends up losing by 1 in the playoff, of course. So
yeah,
that this tournament's a little bit, it hurts to think about it, but I am excited to get into it. I'm not betting Dietrich for what it's worth. So that was just my nugget from last year in this tournament. It was tough to watch.
Fair enough.
And especially Minwoo just like going crazy around the greens and like doing stuff. Like it was a very weird Sunday because he came from way behind.
Yeah, he did. I mean, you watch like highlights. His name wasn't even near the top of the leaderboard really, and then just had that big push on Sunday. In terms of stats this week, all the normal stuff I'm looking at for the most part. I didn't throw anything around the green or scrambling in there. If you want to look at total short game, I think putting is going to be important. I think scrambling is going to have some importance as well, but total par 4 scoring, looking at driving distance a little bit. Birdies, obviously, you want guys who can make birdies. Looking at the last winners, you're going to be able to score here, and I don't think that's really going to change. What are you looking at in terms of stats that's changed from past weeks?
Driving distance, I'm pretty heavy on driving distance / total driving. Obviously, strokes gained approach, weighted strokes gained approach, proximity from 125 to 200. Pretty basic stuff, and I think around the green is going to be less important than we're thinking because of the weather conditions. It's not going to be blowing too much. And we've seen guys light it up. Obviously, the Aaron Rodgers year, 1 at 11 under, completely different weather conditions. We're not going to get that. I mean, it's Scotland. It can change any second. But as of now, I mean, today, if you look at the weather, it was like blowing 25 to 50 all day. It's not going to be like that from Thursday to Sunday. So guys should be able to go low. There's a bunch of scoring holes on this course. So I think it's going to be – my prediction is 17 under will win it. So not like an Amex or like a stupid like birdie fest that I hate watching. I think it'll be – 17 is a fine to watch. It's not like a major, but it kind of does feel like a major with this field and like the
it
time
does.
going off. But and it maybe it's just because the Open's around the corner. But I think it's going to be around 17 under, so guys are going to get after it. Long shots are definitely in play when the winning score is this low. So – that's what I'm looking at, more ball striking than I am short game, because I know short game was kind of boosted up this week.
Yep. And speaking of weather, looking at wind finder, Thursday tomorrow, looks like in the morning it's going to be around 10 to 15. Afternoon from 1 to about 5 p.m. It peaks later in the day at 23 miles an hour. And like I said, this is just wind finder. You can go wherever you want and see a different number. Friday all day, 16 to 22. Pretty steady. And then Saturday, they don't have as much date ranges or time ranges, but about 20 miles an hour all day long. So nothing crazy, like you said, like we see today or what we've seen in the past. I don't like to play wind into it that much, but you just got to kind of know it's the Scottish Open. You're going to have a little bit and carry on from there. So ready to get into the pricing?
Let's get it.
All right, 10K plus. We got 4 guys: Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Justin Thomas, and U.S. Open winner Matt Fitzpatrick. This was difficult for me, to be honest. Matt Fitzpatrick was the only guy I truly crossed off. No reason. The price is fine. I just think there's values past him. I think I'm just going to ride with Scotty Scheffler.
I like that.
Same price as what we've been paying. It's not like we have to sell him. We say that every week, but did have a week off after the Travelers where he finished T13, and you wouldn't have even known he was really there. Did the same thing last year. Played the Travelers, week off, Scottish, British, and then at the Scottish last year, T12 was 6th off the tee, 12th in par 4 scoring, 19th putting. He opened with a 72, 1 under, and played the next 3 rounds 14 under. Now, Scotty Scheffler in July of 2021 was a great golfer, but he wasn't the Scotty Scheffler July of 2022. So seeing that he was able to get into a groove here at the Renaissance Club, and I mean, he shot a 63 on Friday, which was the round of the day, and tied for the best of the whole week. I just think that is intriguing, especially where his game is at today. So I'm all in on Scheffler at 11-2, and I will have a little Rahm and JT, more Rahm. If I had to rank, it would literally go in order of price, which is rare for me, but heavy Scheffler.
Yeah, I went with 2 guys. I went with Rahm and JT, 47 and 41% respectively in my lineups. I mean, you're splitting hairs in this 10K range. I just don't see that much of a difference. And I'd rather have like the 200 makes a difference sometimes down the bottom. I want to have some guys at the bottom. I don't think there's that much of a difference for me to get an 11-2 Scheffler versus an 11 or a 10-6. I think a Rahm win is closer than a Scheffler win, if that's one reason, just because probability and stuff like that. You can only win so many times. I mean, I know we've said that for Scotty in the past, and he keeps winning, but Rahm's catching up to him in terms of strokes gained, stuff like that. So, and Justin Thomas is also just trending amazingly. I love both of these guys, games, course fit. I mean, I can read you the stats, but it's just like they're also they make so much sense every single course. They're 10K guys. Like, I love these guys. I was debating on betting Justin Thomas and Jon Rahm and calling it a card, maybe adding one more bomb, but I didn't. I ended up betting Justin Thomas at 16-1 at Bet365. There was a boost. Not really too much went into it besides the number was better than Rahm. So I can totally see either of these guys winning. So I went with Justin Thomas in the betting card, but I like both of these guys in DFS, playing both of them. But the only guy I'm not playing is Matt Fitz, and that's because I love one more guy, one below him in the 9K range, which we'll get there. And yeah, that's basically it. JT and Rahm for me in this 10K range.
Well, pretty straightforward with 4 guys. So let's just get to the 9K range. First guy in, Xander Schauffele.
Yep, that's my guy. I went pretty heavy with Xander, 41% of my lineups. And I was talking to my show. I'm like, I feel like he's gonna be around 20 to 25. Anything under like the 22 range, I was in on Xander because I'm seeing Xander around 22, Matt Fitz around 20. It's basically the same thing, and I feel like they have the same exact upside versus like for the price point. Went with the $100 cheaper, and Xander is playing so well right now. I feel like the worst he could possibly finish in this field is like 22nd. Like, I just feel like he's lighting it up. Like, it's just he's playing so in front of him. Everything seems so calm. His game's coming into circle. He just won the JP, which isn't anything, but it's definitely a fact. Like, it's definitely something.
Yeah,
like, just won an event, like won a little pro-am. That with legit golfers and guys were shooting over par in it too. So I love where Xander Schauffele's trending, modeled out for me, 9th in the model. I don't think he's gonna win 3 straight appearances in like 3 straight events. For Travelers JP if you want to count JP. I don't think he's gonna win, but I love him in DFS. I feel like I'm gonna eat the chalk and go with him. Like, I'm gonna double the field. So I'm going 9-9 Xander Schauffele in a lot of my lineups.
Yeah, and when he's playing like this, it's really hard to fade him. This price range is difficult for me because I mean, obviously, like the 10K range, you can make the case for just about any of these guys. Zalatoris is going to rate out well for everyone. The only thing that worries me is a birdie fest, which we've talked about. I mean, it's not exactly a birdie fest, but if it gets up near or lower than 20, which we've seen it in the past, we've kind of stayed away from him at those tracks, and also not having the experience on these overseas courses and these link style courses. I think that's going to play a big factor. I mean, you can pull your models from the PGA Tour and whatnot, but it's a whole different game when you get over here. That's why, like, you even we know Matt is eating the Goddard up chalk this week.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to, right?
Like, I'm not.
First dub.
He's not winning.
But no, looking even last year, like, the Scottish wasn't as strong of a field as we're seeing here in 2022 because of the new format and being a hybrid PGA Tour event. But you still look last year, like Minwoo Lee, Thomas Detry, 1-2 Fitzpatrick, 2 Herbert, Poulter, Palmer. Like, outside of Ryan Palmer, these are all guys who had primarily played on the European Tour or had a lot of experience on the European Tour before either making the jump or whatever. I mean, like, Poulter was playing almost a 50-50 split for a majority of his career. So it's like these guys with experience, they prove it once they get here. So that's why I'm having trouble with a lot of these younger guys coming over for this event. And the next range, I think, is very intriguing for a lot of guys. I feel like it's a Cam Smith track. Because it looks pretty wide open, so you don't really have to rely on him struggling with the driver. I think even his struggles are going to be fine. And then if you're left with I mean, some long putts on these massive greens or running a putt up on it. If you miss a green, I feel like it's his jam. And like I've said it before, I'm not a Cam Smith guy, but I just feel like 9,100 here is a great price.
Yeah, I'm nervous that you said that because I just cashed out my Cam Smith. I got him 33-1 Monday morning. Just cashed it out like a few hours ago, went a different direction. And it was such a tough decision for me. And what ended up being the decision for me, like I love Cam Smith. I'm going to say it right now. I love Cam Smith. But what I do, this is what I do weekly, if someone is on the most tipped chart, I don't think they're gonna win. So I took them off. I didn't bet them. But like it's a mental thing. It's dumb. I don't suggest doing that. If you like a guy, you like a guy. I do like Cam Smith. I swapped him out for a 25-1 Patrick Cantlay. He was the second guy in my betting card, and I put Patrick Cantlay into my DFS lineups. I love the way he's trending. All but that Sunday at the Travelers, which obviously I watched in person, and it was horrendous. He's been awesome. And I feel like it also is a great track for Patrick Cantlay. He's a great total driver of the golf ball. It plays out of the fairway more than often than a lot of guys. He did have the right misses on Sunday, so hopefully he got that squared out because he was awesome before that. And great wedge player. He's kind of boomer bust with his like irons. It's either like a +4 or like a 0, and I don't think a 0 performance will get it done. He really loses strokes with his irons, but he's going to have to be firing with them this week, or he could just make a million putts, which is like the Patrick Cantlay strategy. So I love him, especially at 11% owned. So the only two guys I went with in this 9K range are X and Xander, but I do like Zalatoris as well. I was thinking about getting to him, but where's his ownership coming in at? 15%. That's not horrible. I just, like you said, I don't think he's going to make a lot of, like he's going to make enough putts to win, but I do feel like he's super, super, super safe for like a 15th place finish. But is that what you want at 9-3? Probably not, maybe. But I do like Zalatoris this week. Couldn't get there. Seen a lot of people on Burns. What's your take on Burns?
I mean, I haven't been looking at him much at all. Like he doesn't do it for me here. I have no reason. I mean, we obviously know he's a great putter, can make birdies with the best of them, but like that upper 8K range, I feel like is so strong. I wasn't able to get to Burns. Maybe it's because Cam Smith's right there and Zalatoris, Morikawa. Not a huge Burns guy either. I'm not going to sit here and act like I am, but I couldn't get there.
It's a decent price for a guy who like
it is.
I was again another shout out to my boy DG Betting. What are they going to do what is it going to take for Burns to get into the 20s in the betting odds, into the 10K range? Like he just won again. He was like 33-1 on Monday. Like I don't do, and I feel like the course makes sense. Like just he hits it long enough, make a bunch of putts. Like that's Sam Burns. 17% owned, didn't get there, but yeah. Sam Burns makes a lot of sense. So you can do a lot worse than him at 9-2. So
and a top 20 finish in his first try over this way. So
yeah, definitely
gotta like that he's been here.
I mean, you gotta take your stances. I went with X and PC, but I do like this 9K range. I definitely think Burns is a viable option, and yeah, that rounds it out for me. I went with the two guys at the top in this 9K range, and I got 4 guys in the 8K range.
All right, let's bump down to 8. I am highest on the first 2 and the last one. Okay. Getting Spieth and Victor in the 8K range is a gift. I'll start by saying that. I understand the form with Victor isn't where people would like to see it, but at the same time, we saw what he's able to do on the European Tour. I mean, end of last year, early this year, it's his only win in the Saudi event. I'm not too concerned about around the green, and I think if there's any place to get right, this is it.
Okay, like why is that? Like, what's the reasoning for why is this the place to get right?
Just because I feel like the familiarity with the DP World Tour and how much success that he's had over there, and just visually watching last year and the year before and seeing the way that the course plays, around the green wasn't that big of a deal. We know that's where he struggles. And I feel like, I mean, what's his ownership at right now?
10. I'm seeing 10.
Yeah,
And that
10.
was the thing it was for me. I was on my Tuesday show yesterday morning. I originally had Victor Hovland in my player pool, and I said, looked at his form. This is the form, like you can't like dance around it. The form is just objectively bad. This is the
Yep.
first time in his PGA Tour career he had 2 consecutive weeks losing strokes ball striking, that's what he is. Like when he's at his best, he's maybe the best ball striker in the world. Like that's how good he is. So we know what the ceiling is, but I honestly think he is hurt. And I was going to say, I'm playing him. He was in my player pool. I was like, I'm playing Victor Hovland under 7.5%, playing him because we know what the upside is. 10%. It's what's the three points of difference? That's what it took to get me off of him. But the upside is there. He is an elite talent. And like, if you're saying this is a get right spot for him, I think that it definitely makes sense. But
And it happens. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to make sense.
Right.
We all know the talent, and when you're getting a Victor Hovland
At
sub
8A,
9K at 10%, that's really. I mean, what else can you say?
No, you're so right. You're on Spieth too, though.
I am. Yeah, I think this is a good spot for Jordan, and again, just like the price over the last couple months, third in the field in birdie or better's gain, scoring on the par fours just about everywhere he goes, and off the tee just keeps showing up for Jordan, and that's what I'm really looking at here. The distance is up. He's just good overall off the tee, accurate, and you don't even have to be accurate here, but I feel like this is a good spot for Spieth. And again, getting these two guys sub 9K, whatever.
Yeah, so Jordan Spieth has basically turned into the golfer that I love to bet. Like the prototypical golfer that I bet on a week-to-week basis is an elite ball striker who cannot putt for his life. And like that's not what Jordan Spieth is like his whole career, but that's what he's became this year. So the ball striking numbers have been awesome. In his last start, they were bad at what event was that? That was the Travelers. He missed the cut, lost 3.5 strokes ball striking. So last time he lost 3.5 stroke ball striking and missed the cut was the Masters. He followed that up with a win at the RBC Heritage, gaining 9 strokes ball striking. Does that mean he's going to gain 9 strokes ball striking and win? Probably not, but we saw that he's able to bounce back, and I don't think he will miss the cut. So we get the ball striking prowess, we get the links prowess, combine that. Like I said with Jordan Spieth at the U.S. Open, I feel like he's got multiple avenues to go about things. If the wind kicks up, he's got the elite short game. He put the PGA Tour DP posted a video of him today. Looked super confident chipping around the green. He had a nice little forward press. Just looked club twirling after every chip. Looked super confident around the green. I feel like the putters just got to hold him back. We know he's going to be bombs away. He's a bomber now. I don't know what happened. He's basically became Bryson. So I'm just kidding. But I love Jordan Spieth. 8-9, great price point. I don't believe he's going to garner too. Nope, he's going to be up near 20 just because of the price point. I ate the chalk. I went with Jordan Spieth. 29% of my lineups, I bet him at 40-1. He was the third out of fourth person I bet this week.
It's a great number.
It's a stupid number. It was a boosted on 365. It was like 33 up to 40. I was like, no brainer. I'll take Spieth, and I locked it in. So
take him anywhere at that, any field, like
and
unless it's 2019.
His number for the Open next week is like over less than half of that. So like
I don't
in a week
fully follow because I feel like this field is like right there with next week. I mean, the majority of these guys are playing next week.
I think Cam Smith or Jordan Spieth wins this week or next week. So, and they both have better numbers this week than they do next week. I'll obviously be really sad if Cam Smith wins just because I cashed out the bet. But I feel like they both make so much sense, and you're getting great numbers. Like if you're just betting off of value and plus even shit like that, you got like great prices for a slightly less field than it is next week. So in a similar situation. But so that's the top. We talked about the top for a while. Who you like in this mid eight range or not much?
Fleetwood and Connors I've went back and forth on, but I really landed with Max Homa.
Okay. Yeah.
Finally inside the top 20 official world golf rank. He's made 10 straight cuts. 4 of his last 5 are T23 or better. Obviously, the win at Wells Fargo, we've seen him win at multiple spots. First on the PGA Tour this season in par 5 scoring from 550 to 600. And then the last 3 months, top 10 in this field in birdie or better, ball striking, approach, and procs from 200 plus. So I think it's a very good price for a guy who's contended just about everywhere over the last few months. And at 8K, I just feel like, I mean, Cam Young, rated out for me very well. But like I said earlier, it's just these younger guys getting over here for the first time. I don't love it.
Yeah, I'm also on Joaquin Neiman. He rounded out my card. Another great number, 50-1 at 365, the greatest book on earth. So he rounded out my card 50-1. Great number. Loves the way he hits those low spin drivers, those road runners. He might need those, might not if the wind kicks up. But and he's a great wedge player, great mid iron player. Also, pretty decent with his long irons too. Can make a ton of putts. So I'm on Joaquin Neiman, but I'm also on Corey Connors in DraftKings. He was one of the guys I took. He is in 59% of my lineups. What do I like about Corey Connors? He is ranked 10th in total driving this year. He is amazing iron player. We know that already. And he's actually a slight gainer with the putter. I don't think he is capable of making enough putts to win this event or finish even T5, but I do love his floor. I think he's got a super high floor, and that could equate to a high finish. I think he's got like maybe T45, which is like, if you tell me that Corey Connors cannot possibly finish worse than T45, I'll buy that upside at 8.3. So that's what I went with Corey Connors. And then Cam Young. I love Cam Young this week. Drive the ball as far as you can, hit your wedges.
Yeah.
That's what he can do. He doesn't rate out too good with his irons, and he's kind of regressing a little bit, but he is one of the longest drivers we've seen since like for a while. And the only thing with Cam Young is if he gets in a bunker, I think he's dead. He is, from the eye test, he's the worst sand player I've seen since Victor Hovland and Jason Kokrak. So we know there's going to be bunkers here. Avoid them at all costs because I think he will not get up and down in any of them. But I took that. We're kind of getting a little bit of a discount on him price-wise and ownership-wise from where he was, just 3 weeks ago. He was like the guy. I was like, and I was saying, like, we like him, but I'm fading a Cam Young at 25% owned. I'm just not doing it. And it's paid off. It's paid off fading him. So now I'm going to hop on when guys are starting to hop off. So I like Cam Young just based on price and upside, and if he can avoid bunkers and just ball strike it, which I think could be in play just based on how benign the course is looking to play. So I went with Cam Young.
Let me give you 3 guys. I know you already have your core, but 3 guys who look to be 3 of the lower owned guys in this range that we didn't touch on. Who would you take out of these 3? Sungjae Im, Ryan Fox, Billy Horschel.
You mean the PGA Tour savior, Billy Horschel, who is going nuts in these interviews? I'd probably go with Sungjae Im because I really feel like this is going to turn into a ball striking fest rather than a Linksy style around the green type thing. I'm just out on Ryan Fox. He's become a meme in all of my golf group chats with like some guys just because of what he does every single week on the DP. I've been tuning in, but like he is a bomber. Ryan Fox mashes the ball. Like it's hilarious. But on Sundays when he gets into contention, he has like no awareness for what's going on around him. He does not take his time over any chip, any putt. So if he gets into contention this week and you notice that, be like, oh wow. Like he just doesn't care. Like he'll have like a 6-foot putt to win or a dicey chip to make it he needs to get up and down. Won't even look twice. He'll go and it'll just be a bad one because he doesn't even like realize that.
But if you roster him at 8.5 and he misses or duffs a chip to win it, paid off.
Oh yeah, yes. Okay. I'm just saying it paid off, but I'm just saying that it's just funny watching Ryan Fox. No, he's a bomber. He's in great form, and if we're taking the driving distance route, which I think is going to be really important this week, I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't want to pay 8.5 for Ryan Fox. He's priced around some elite golfers, and
yeah,
I'll pass. And he is garnering like some ownership, like more than you would think. I'm seeing, what am I seeing right now? 17% own Ryan Fox because people just hear the name. I think they're just hearing the
I
name
saw
and they're going.
17% in one spot and sub 8 in another.
That's such a big disparity. We're gonna see. We're
Because
gonna have to monitor.
I wouldn't be shocked with either. I think he's more sub 10 than 15 plus.
Yeah. Well,
Like
we're gonna
if
have
he,
to
especially
monitor.
at this price tag, because you got to remember a lot of people building lineups. Sure, you can look at recent finishes on DraftKings or whatnot, but they're going to be very hesitant playing at 8.5 Fox when they can play a Cam Young, Fleetwood, Neiman, Hovland, Spieth. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I think once it comes time to submit your percentages or submit your hand-built lineups, people are going to flake on Fox.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to see where he comes in when we wake up tomorrow morning.
Last thing about Sung Jae, I think he's going to come in fairly low owned just because, I mean, what was the last time we saw him where he was crazy owned and missed the cut? The U.S. Open, yeah. U.S. Open had it in great form. I even said it was like a free square. I mean, $7,600 was ridiculously cheap, and everyone was on. And now they boosted him $1,000 after a missed cut, and no one's on him.
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm not saying I am, but
I couldn't. I just like the other guys better, but I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a tee to green fest, and I think that's what Sung Jae Im is. He definitely makes sense.
Yep, that's going to be a big range. That's going to change a lot. But let's head into the sevens. I'll start off here. I have talked myself into Tyrell Hatton this week.
That might be the free square. At that price point? At that price point?
It is a great price. I'll say that. But I think he's going to come in sub 10%, having missed the cut last week.
Really? He's that low?
Yeah, didn't look that great. But when you get into this range, you would be like, I mean, it's not a course history thing, clearly. He's finished T18 last year and then 2019, 14th place. This just feels like a Hatton track, and he's proven that in his 2 attempts. I don't know. I mean, you look at even his wins, like 2016 to 2021, he had 6 wins on the DP World Tour. He complains about every U.S. course, it seems like. So there's got to be some level of comfort. Playing overseas for Hatton, $7,900 for a guy who has true upside to win.
Yeah.
Like as true as it gets. I mean, I think he's got a better chance to win than a lot of guys on the odds board priced ahead of him. Like realistic chance to win.
No, I agree. I just can't get past his form that he's in right now. It's bad. And this is probably the worst ball striking year of his career. Like, because that's what he is. He's a great iron player, great ball striker.
Last week at the Irish was really bad too, all around.
What? Yeah. Tough. So I'm out on Hatton at 7-8. I'm surprised how low ownership he is projected because I thought people would run to that Lynx Hatton. We know that's a thing. So, and yeah, that's 8%, 7-8. I think that's a good play. I do.
Yeah. My team could, honestly, I could go 0 for 6. Hatton, Hovland. I'm going to try it.
In this, I'm not really on anyone in the upper 7K range. Yeah, no one in this upper 7K range. Are you on anyone else?
76.
Okay, who's that?
I mean, I tried to talk myself out of Herbert, but couldn't. He's going to be chalky. Obviously, the back-to-back top 5 finishes here when it played in 2 different months. So, just how elite he's been with his short game, like in total.
How good he is. He was so good at short game.
Yeah, and last week, I mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but being over at the Irish Open, not having to travel as far. It's not like he was right down the street, but was over that way. Finished T9, was first around the green, 8th from tee to green, 12th in driving distance. Herbert's been sneaky long off the tee, actually, and the approach hasn't been all that consistent, but if you're able to push the ball out there off the tee and then save yourself around and on the green, I think it's gonna boost what he's able to do at a league style course like this. I mean,
Yeah.
two of his top 15 finishes this season, he lost strokes on approach. Like,
No, he loses ball striking damn near every single week.
I know.
But he like we say you can't rely on your short game so much, but it's what he does. Like he is a short game player. And I remember I said at the US Open, he was one of the only 6K guys I played at the US Open. And I was like, yeah, he's not great with his approach, but you're going to need short game this week at the US Open. And that was the first time he lost strokes around the green in like 5 weeks. He lost 3.8 strokes around the green. Of course, the one time I play him. But so I'm not going to get to a chalk Lucas Herbert at this price point just because like you really can you rely on your short game that much? I know he's
You can't that much, no.
Like how good does it need to be to like finish top 5 again? Because he has not gained strokes ball striking. He has not gained a full strike ball striking since the 2021 WGC FedEx. He gained 4. And that he has not gained a full stroke since then. The last time he gained 0.6 strokes was the Honda Classic, and he missed the cut. He loses strokes ball striking every single week, and I think ball striking is going to be very, very, very important this week rather than short game because of the wind conditions. But he's got the form. He knows how to play here. He played great played great here last year in more benign conditions. So,
yeah, and I mean, looking at like his proximity buckets, he's fine in close as of late. He's had long-term consistency from 200 plus, which a lot of those par threes, if not every par three, right, is over 200 yards, or I think 4 or 5, whatever.
So.
But he's been very good from 200 plus. 175 to 200, he's been good. So I'm in. I'm eating the chalk on Lucas Herbert. If he burns me, he burns me. But 7,600's a pretty good price given his, I guess you can say, form and course history.
So the guys that I am on in this 7K range, both at near the bottom, it is Maverick McNeely and Johnny Vegas. Maverick McNeely I really like because this is a course where you can totally take control of it with your driver. He had another great week with his driver last week at the John Deere Classic. I think finished 7th. He shouldn't finish any worse than 7th in that field last week. Fine, did not win, obviously, but fine. Nothing to be worried about. Another great performance with his driver. Does that again this week. He should be able through the cut. And then he never really gains with his irons. It's okay. He can just take control with his driver, gain 4 strokes off the tee, and gain 4 strokes putting. That's going to be a great finish from Maverick McNeely, and that is his build. That's what he does. Johnny Vegas, and then kind of the same reason for Johnny Vegas. He's a great wedge player, obviously a bomber off the tee. He doesn't have much experience over here, but I like the fit. I like the bomb wedge fest type thing, and we know how hot he could get with the putter. So those are my 2 guys in the 7K range.
My last guy in, who's probably going to be my highest owned. I've been on him since I started looking at things on, I mean, really, I didn't get around till Monday night, Tuesday morning. So I got a little bit of a late start, but Luke List at $7,200. Last couple months, he has been just solid as can be, ranked 5th in my model during that time, 3rd off the tee, 5th in driving distance, and then top 10 in both ball striking and approach. But the one thing, Matt, that really stuck out with Luke List, what he did at the Travelers with just like basically no putter, so he lost 8 strokes putting, was unreal. Gained over 10 strokes on approach and over 14 from tee to green. Led the field by a mile in both of them.
It was the best ball striking week of his career. Yeah.
Which says a lot for a guy like Luke List.
I love Luke List, and he is what did you say his price was?
72.
He's been hovering around this price range for the last like month and a half, and he's been paying off.
Yes. Yeah.
And
he'll be, for this range, he'll be fairly popular. I would imagine.
Okay, Luke List. Yeah,
I would say.
Same price as Vegas, just 3. Yeah, okay. He's like double the ownership, but it's not like sub 7. Okay, I'll stick with Vegas, but I do like Luke List for sure. And like you know how I'm keeping it tight. I have 4, 8. I have 12 guys this week for 17 lineup. So 12 guys make the cut. I'm in business. We'll see. But it's going to really rely on these 6K guys because I am They are respectively 71 and 82% of my lineup. So if the Hoyard brothers make the cut, I'm in business this week.
You just spoiled everything.
I had to. It was
all right. 6K.
Are we gonna touch on any Barbasol when we're done with the 6K range?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll touch on some Barbasol. 6K. I believe one of the Hogard twins is right towards the top. Rasmus, the better one. Are you heavier on him or his brother?
I'm heavier on Nikolai. And that is no reason. That is just where just because of price and where I had to lineup building reasons. But so they're basically, I pulled up the DP World Tour stats the other last week. They're very similar with their irons on a year-long basis, but Rasmus is slightly better with his driver, and Rasmus is in slightly better form, not slightly better form, much better form. But what they both are at the core is extremely long drivers, and that's kind of just the gate I'm following this week. So I'm be long with your driver and find a pot putting week. I just didn't want to spend myself too many guys that are in the 6K range. If I can get these two guys through the cut, and we know what their upside is, they're young, they're talented, very talented golfers, on a big stage that we know that they can make it through, make names for themselves. I do like the Hoygards, and that's all I went with in the 6K range. I just didn't want to spread myself out too much, but there is a few other names that I'll either back you up with or just touch on that I also like. But I just wanted to maybe I'll throw another guy into a few lineups because I don't know if 80% Nikolai Hoygaard is the way I want to go. So
that's risky.
It's boldy.
I mean, upside's there, but it is risky. I'm not gonna lie. I love those. I love those two, but I don't feel like it's never really paid off for me in my past experience. But yeah, Rasmus is definitely the better one. First, I'm just gonna get to the top of the 6 and scroll. So names that I've been looking at: Steven Yeager, 6,800 for finishing T30 last week at the John Deere. Had a fantastic week from top to bottom. What I was looking at. Top 3 in strokes gained tee to green. So Yeager is someone I'm looking at 68. I think the price is horrible, but I think it's going to be so much that people aren't on him. Adria Arnaus is a guy that I've been following quite a bit and playing on the few Euro lineups that I do play. I know he popped on the one tour event earlier this season. Can't name it off the top of my head, but guy that did come up. Brendan Grace off of a big live win at $6,700. I feel like not too many people are talking about him. And this just seems like a Brendan Grace track. I mean, if he's
3%,
what is he?
3%. You might be on to something there. I feel like Brandon Grace is objectively so much better of a golfer than even Rasmus.
Well, when you try and think of guys who can play at these link style courses, like Grace, a South African who played so much on the European tour through the years. I mean, I didn't look if he's been to Renaissance yet. It was more of just scrolling through and
no, but I think
last year and he missed the cut in 19. So nothing crazy, but
live guys, because I feel like it's they want to come and be like, fuck you. I can still play. Well,
exactly.
Brandon Grace, third at Live London, missed the cut at the U.S. Open, but he didn't have a bad performance. He probably missed the cut by a stroke or two because he gained a stroke ball striking, lost a stroke around the green. He's probably around the cut and then won Live Portland.
And I get it's 48 man fields, but the top half of both fields are pretty talented. I know
it's still got to play golf.
You do. Yep, you still got to score, and
I might make that change, my friend.
I mean, he PGA Tour wise this season, he showed just about nothing, but we're only looking at recent form. I don't need stats to know that you won a live event or you were third in a live event. Off the tee has been about the only thing consistent with Grace throughout the years. Like I said, a guy who was on the European Tour primarily throughout the majority of his career. When he first came onto the PGA Tour, I always looked at him as being a links guy, a guy who excels at these type of courses. So I just think the price point is great. If he was up in the low sevens, I'd probably still consider, but I wouldn't be as intrigued as I am here at $6,700. Scrolling a little further,
I might make that switch. Last week that switch from going like 60% Jason Day to changing it to like 60% Denny McCarthy really saved me, and we talked about that.
yeah,
Obviously,
got to
he
talk through
withdrew.
things, you know.
Yeah, I might put some grace in here and try to like take some of the Huygaard love out of my lineups.
And you don't need a guy in the 6K range to win the event for you. I just feel like
No.
Grace provides
It's
a pretty
safer.
nice floor.
Mm-hmm. I
So
agree.
that's
I agree.
really all it comes down to. $6,300, a guy who I'm not going to lie, I did not know before this week. Sebastian Soderberg, 6,300. T46 last week at the Irish Open, number one in the field on approach. Since the beginning of May, he's finished inside the top 5 twice, second at the British Masters, and a 5th at the Dutch Open. Played the U.S. Open, T53, made it through the cut. Honestly, didn't even know he was there. He was actually 1 over through the first 2 rounds. I think he was like T34, T35-ish, somewhere in there. Was in the first whatever groups, but Soderberg, I'm on him.
Okay, yeah.
I've always said this year, bad finishes with fantastic approach numbers says something. So at $6,300, a guy who's pushed top 5 finishes out, I think he's like 29 years old, so he's not some young guy who's just coming up. Then another guy I played last week, Sami Valimaki, someone that I followed pretty closely in 2020. And then when I looked like a few months back, I was like, he completely lost it. Well, starting to turn a little bit. He's gained strokes on approach each of the past 2 events. Solo 4th 2 weeks ago at the BMW. I played him last week at the Irish Open where he was T30. I didn't watch a whole lot, but I remember at some point in the week he was a lot higher than T30. But looking at his 2020, got his first win. I think he was 21 years old back then. And then he rounded out the year of 2020 with 9 of 10 cuts made, 5 top 10s, 8 top 20s. If this recent form of solo 4th and T30 means that he's going to start this hot run again at $6,200, he's very interesting. And honestly, I played him last week blindly just because I knew the name and he was cheap.
Yeah,
that was
it's like we said earlier in the show. Like there's these 6K guys on that are DP World Tour that just have like decent upside rather than what we know what we're getting with these 6K PGA Tour guy. If there's one guy that I wish it was playing a little tougher, Maverick Ancliffe. He is like a worse version of Luke List. Insane ball striker. I used to bet him every single week when I bet Euro Tour. Every single week. The worst putter in the world. Like the worst putter. Like kind of like Luke List. So, but he's 6K flat. If it was a little bit tougher, he'd be in my lineups, but you're going to have to make some putts this week. So he probably will have 15 feet on every single hole and might 3-putt 35% of the time. So I'm off of him there. But yeah, that rounds it out for me in this 6K range. Anyone else in this bottom you want to throw a dart at or no?
I think that about does it for me. Andy Sullivan I looked at pretty hard. Okay. Don't even know if he made the cut last week, but I was following him either this week or last, and he was near the top of the leaderboard. He's been a guy who in some of these events where he's came over to the alternate fields, been in like the 8K, mid 8K range. He's had better days, obviously, but looking at the 3 attempts here at this course, the Renaissance Club, where is he? Sullivan has 78th, 26th, 28th.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
6,200. I mean, just throwing darts at guys and names. So, and you forgot your Nikolai Højgaard comparison.
Oh yeah, he is the what is he from Denmark? He is whatever. He is Cam Champ of the DP World Tour. Absolute bomber, and will do nothing else. But we know what the upside is there. He has a win early this season. He won the Ras Al Khamai Championship. I think that's what it's called. I could be so wrong. He won and gained like 20 strokes total. Like he had like a Rory at RBC Canadian Open type performance to the field where he just like went lights out. So we know the upside is there. But so get through the cut for me, Nikolai, and we'll be living this week.
That's right.
So anything else on this, or you want to give our quick Barbasol thoughts?
Barbasol.
Have you bet anyone or touched anyone on Barbasol? Done anything?
Tonight I will. But as of right now, no. Have the FanDuel article out over on fantasypoints.com with my FanDuel values. Not a whole lot of contests over there, but translates to both DFS sites.
Yeah, so with the Barbasol, I won't run through my betting card, but I posted it to at Jersey Betting. I have a 12-man betting card of absolute bombs that includes 750 to 1 Bo Van Pelt. That's what type of week it is at the Barbasol. But I just really want to quickly just talk about how I'm fading Chris Gotterup, who is, you guys know, that's my guy. I've been on Chris Gotterup.
Oh, you are?
Fading Chris Gotterup. I'm underweight on him in my DraftKings. I'm playing 11 lineups. He's in, I think, 2 of them. So he's going to be super chalk. He's going to be like, he's probably going to touch 30% is what I'm thinking, maybe 25%. It's just crazy. Like where he's came in such a short period of time, like literally watching him play at Rutgers last year to being unknown to winning the Haskins Award at Oklahoma, now being the favorite in a PGA Tour event. Like the future is so big for him, but I am fading him this week. And why am I fading him this week? From quotes he said, this is his, I think, 7th or 8th week playing in a row. And as all pro golfers know, and it's not hard to crazy take, it takes a toll on you going across the country, going a new place every single week. He noticeably said, I'm gassed. And they asked him, so with a top 10 this week, you get into the Barbasol Championship next week. And this was like on like Thursday. And he basically said, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to play next week. I'm just going to see where it takes me. I'm not worried about next week. I need to get back home. I need to rest. I'm tired from NCAAs. I had the playoffs. I had the Nationals, which 2 weeks at the team event. And now I'm 4 straight weeks in the PGA Tour. I need a week off. But you don't have your PGA Tour card. You're going to play when you have the chance. He's not going to not play. He came home this last week on Monday. He was at a club for sure. Sorry, Chris Goddard. He was at a club.
Saw that.
He's
saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so he's not going to turn down like an appearance to play in the PGA Tour card. He wants to get his membership, but he's obviously the most talented player in that field. No one's arguing that. I think his future is a rocket ship. I think he could do huge things, but you're going to have to be on top of your game this week. You're going to have to make 20-plus birdies. Can you do that? For sure. I just think he's a little run down. I think he's gassed. I don't think he's going to miss the cut, but I don't think he's going to perform at whatever, 10.3, whatever he is, to get that value. I'm fading Chris Gotterup. I'm sorry, Chris Gotterup. I am a truther. I am Team Gotterup forever. I love you, but I have to fade you this week. Yeah, that's basically my take on the event.
I'm back on Stroud.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what? You're at the Barbasol. Chris Stroud. What else is there?
Yeah, big letdown last week, but I mean, he was like 3 under through 12, and I was like, here we go. Gave him right back and within the next 3 holes.
Yeah, he was 3.
He's just so generous.
Through 12, and
he didn't want to get all 414 FedEx Cup points in his first medical start. So I get it. He
was the live favorite as soon as he teed off. DraftKings was like, this guy's on the tee.
He is due for
a win.
A little bit of a bounce back, I would say, but
also I am confirmed. This is actually notable in my Barbasol DraftKings this week. I am 100% Chesson Hadley. I'm confirmed he will finish T7. I bet him at 40 to 1. I cashed out because he was the 3rd most tipped golfer on golf Twitter, and I just doubt if we get a community Chesson Hadley win. I'll log off for a month. If we get a community Chesson Hadley PGA tournament win, I'll log off Twitter for a month. But I think he's going to perform awesome. T7 is my prediction for old Chesson Hadley.
I mean, if we get a Chesson Hadley win and you're at 100%, I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, so I played him in DraftKings, just didn't bet him.
One of my 2 picks, or one of my 3 picks on the FanDuel plays was Jacob Bridgman at $9,000, ACC
Clemson
Player of the Year. Yep, Clemson boy. got his Corn Ferry membership, Canadian, whatever. So since the beginning of June, he's going to start playing a lot more. Finished T5 at the BMW Charity Pro-Am, shot 4 rounds sub 70. He's priced in a spot where I feel like people won't really know who he is, but I like Bridgman a lot. He was ranked second on that PGA Tour University class to got her up. So
he's a stud.
That's
and
when I plays this week.
I watched him play at the Wells Fargo. Like him and Goddard up, like being the same grade as these guys, like literally the same age. Like, why can't I be that good at golf? Like these guys are studs. So Jacob Bridgman, if you don't know that name, Clemson product, I'm happy you brought him up. He is a stud. He will be on the tour within the next few years. So yeah, that about rounds it up for me. Go check out my Barbasol card. It's on Twitter. I'm not going to run through it. So that does it for me. Yeah.
Speaking of wishing you were as good as them and being in the same grade, look out for me. I got my first ever golf lesson tomorrow.
Look out for me.
So, I mean, if something clicks in that 1 hour that I'm over there,
6.2K Dom Cinto. You never know with that. There's upside there. He teases up off with a 3-wood. Casual 310. Casual 310.
Now, recent form's like 110, but either way. All right. Any side bets this week?
Yeah, we could run up a quick one. I'll make it real quick. Let's go Barbasol.
Okay.
Let's go 1v1 in the any golfer in the 8K range, Barbasol.
Any in the 8K. Okay. 1v1. Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Taylor Moore. I know
like that. Pick. I will go. I'm not going to take who you thought. I'm actually going to go Kelly Craft.
I was mouthing Sam Ryder, but okay, Kelly Craft. I think I'm
Craft versus Taylor Moore. He was one that actually rated out pretty good for me, but I was like, I hate saying I can't pay that price, but it's Kelly Craft.
Yeah, that's fair. I like.
There's more upside with a lot of these rookies. Like
I bet a lot of rookies
and playing forever, and Taylor Moore. It's like there's a lot more value. If Buckley wins, then I'm gonna be pissed.
I'll be pissed, but no, I think Buckley's a noted difficult conditions guy. I think we figured that out. I don't know. I don't think he's a birdie fest guy. I think he's a. I still don't think I know. All right. Well, I mean, we'll see. Well, this is going to be a big week that decides what Buckley is.
It will. This will be a big week for a lot of guys in the Barbasol. But at about the hour mark, as usual, thanks for watching, everyone. Good luck this week. The Open Championship next week. Big one. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back for the final points. Again, good luck. Matt, thanks for joining me. See you next week.
Peace out.